What's good, party people? And Vince's win. Guys, thank you for joining. But yeah, dude, let's talk about the win. How I feel. I mean, going back to the home of your last fight, 54 at the OC hangar. How was that whole experience?
It's great. It's always fun to mix it up in the LFA cage. We're always fighting tough opponents, guys that are names, and Joe Murphy was just another one that we had. Like, we knew it was going to be a very tough fight. He's a solid fighter. He's coming off a little bit of a losing streak, but everyone who's local knows, like, when that name popped up and they saw me, and it was. I mean, we both delivered. Joe came out and fought well. He fought hard. He fought like he wanted to win. He was trying to stand the whole time, and I had to take it to him, and it was a good, fun battle, and got the victory.
Yeah, no, man, that was on a lot of people's kind of digest. That was going to be the fight of the night, pretty much. Now, Coach Lerner, so you had a very specific game plan for that. I mean, short term and long term. Could you kind of tell us about what was going through your mind in terms of how you prepped Vince for this fight?
Yeah, I mean, all of the time we're always trying to train for the best fighters in the world. Okay, so all of our preparation at all times is with that in mind. So we're trying to get him with the best grapplers, to challenge him, to push him, to beat him up a little bit, so that he can adapt and he can become part of his environment. We do the same thing with strikers. I put him in the ring with some of the best boxers in the world at 10 Goose and Van Nuys, bring guys in for him to spar with, whatever he needs to challenge himself. Whenever he's winning all the time, I start looking for more people, right? If he's winning every sparring session, I'm trying to find more people for him to work with, more people for him to spar with, to give him that challenge and to make him rise to the next level. The good news is, I guess, that's getting harder and harder to do, because he's winning rounds with pretty much everybody that he goes with, and that's starting to include some of the best boxers in the world, some of the best grapplers. So he's starting to push everybody, no matter what their specialty. He's starting to push them. So going into this fight specifically with Murphy, we had a good sense of who he is, what he does. We know that he's only lost to the best guys in California and some of the best guys in the world, guys that are all UFC level guys. He really hasn't lost any fights to anyone other than that level, So we knew that he was gonna challenge us, he was gonna push us, and that we had to be on point to beat him, especially if what was happening in there. We also know that he's a black belt, and he's been a black belt for a while in jiu-jitsu. So we wanted to make sure that we fought the fight that fits us best. And in some fights, that's going to be a grappling fight. But in this fight, we felt like we had the best chance to make it the easiest fight, just keeping it a stand-up fight. So we were going to pressure him, break him down, and see how fast he would fold, or just keep hammering him and going after him the entire fight and stopping every takedown attempt with ferocity.
Wow. No, and it showed. The proof was in the pudding at LFA 54. Now, what have you kind of learned about Joe Murphy, post-fight? Obviously, he had a pretty vaunted reputation around this LA circle, which is, pretty much the most talent-rich, square mile radius of anything combat sports in the world. So, what were your takeaways from Joe Murphy's skill?
Skill-wise, he was what I thought he was going to be. Just a solid fighter. He has power in his hands, and although he didn't rock me with anything or hurt me with anything, I still had to be cautious of that uppercut he was throwing. I had to be cautious of that right overhand. It was, it was something that stuck with me through the whole fight. It was like, yo, this guy's in it. And I think that was the big thing, was taking this fight. It was, well, maybe Joe's taking some time off. Does he still believe he can fight at this level? And we had to prepare and train like he did believe he was going to come out there and win. And he fought like that. He tried the whole time, and he fought like he believed he was going to win, but we still had to take it to him and beat him. But, after the fight, he's a respectful, classy guy, and I knew that he wanted to win the whole time, and I knew he put everything he had into training. I think that was the best Joe Murphy that we've seen yet. So, props to him. He showed up to fight. I just showed up to fight, and we made a fun time of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, in terms of your fight camp, what would you say was different? obviously Coach Lerner was talking about, bringing the best grapplers and strikers, in your fight camps and a lot of your teammates' fight camps. But what did you feel differently or better about yourself going into this fight with Joe?
I mean, it was exactly what he was talking about. Like we went out and found some more training partners, some more classes and things, some more other schools that we ventured out to. So, we had 10th Planet West LA that we go to for a little bit of just extra credit work with Scott Epstein over there. Those guys went over to Chad George's gym, all those great grapplers down there. I mean, it's a slaughterhouse when you come in on that wrestling day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the guys at Fight Science and the guys at Black House, Ian, Adam, and Kevin, they're my main guys. But it's also a thing where, like you were talking about, there's so much talent in LA that it doesn't make sense to only stick within our group. So we go out and we venture out. We get to mix it up with some of these talented guys. So I think that helped not only just my skill level, but my confidence. And, everything, like growth only happens when you're slightly uncomfortable. Just out of that comfort zone, that's where you can grow.
Right, absolutely.
So it was a big part of this camp, and for me getting pushed by him too to go out and get put in those uncomfortable situations, get beat up a little bit in the gym in terms of grappling, things like that, so that it improves my game, and then I can reach that next level. So I think you saw some of that in this fight.
Right, absolutely.
And certainly, like the guys I'm training with, they know that I've been improving. I'm going to keep improving till we're at the top.
No, absolutely. Now, it'd be remiss because you touched on it a little bit, and we talked about it a bit off air, but you and Coach Ian Harris of Fight Science, you guys have created, a synergistic, almost victorious what you do with these guys. And how cool do you think that is? I mean, two gyms coming together, you rarely see that, and so well. So how has that kind of relationship been for you and these guys?
It's been really beneficial. I mean, I think they had a really strong base working with Ian for a long time, and we've been able to work together for over 5 years now. I mean, there's drama here and there, and there's definitely issues where we don't necessarily agree on everything, and so we have to try to organize the way we go about everything in the best way possible. But I think we've been very successful, and I think we both have had a lot of impact on these guys' lives in the cage and out of the cage, and so it's been a solid journey, and I think we're probably both still improving as coaches, and I think the fighters are still improving significantly, and I think it's important to learn how to have synergy everywhere, and that's why we've been kind of jumping around a lot. This camp more than any other, but just the last couple of camps for Vince, we've been going everywhere, like he said. So we've been jumping around to gym after gym after gym, and it's my job to create the best possible relationship in each scenario and each environment, so that everybody feels like they're on the same team and they're helping each other out. It doesn't do us any good to fight Chad's guys,
right,
or have a competition with Chad's guys when they're right down the road and Chad is a friend to fight some of their guys, other guys that are fight for friends of mine or whatever, and it's just not necessary. Like, we're not trying to just be the best fighter in California, we're trying to be the best fighters in the world. So if Vince's goal is to be the best fighter in the world, then why do we have to fight a guy down the block?
Right,
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. So I would rather make sure that we have a solid relationship with those guys and that we can all grow together. And I'm happy to help his guys improve. I train a lot of his guys now. He helps me with a lot of my guys as well. So, Dominic is training with me now. Lazar is training with me now. And those are, that's because they wanted to get that work outside of sort of what his strengths are, just like we need to get work outside of what my strengths are,
right, exactly,
in order for us to grow to the top level. So that's the way we go about it. So any coach out there, any fighter out there that can have a cohesive relationship with us and we can kind of be on the same team with, that we're not going to run into down the road, or even potentially if we are going to run into them down the road, then that's okay. I mean, it's just part of the game. But if that helps us grow and get better, then we want to branch out and we want to take chances, and we want to be anywhere we need to be to grow and improve. And I don't want to restrict what my fighters, who are the guys I'm working with, from doing anything, from much as they possibly can. That's my goal for them, is to put them out there and challenge them. And like he was talking about, the only way that we grow is if we're pushed, if something's uncomfortable. It's the way your muscles grow, it's the way your bones grow, and it's the way evolution happens, right? Nothing happens without a challenge, without a press, without discomfort. That's how everything adapts and changes to its environment. So that's what we're trying to do. Microcosm of evolution. We're just trying to push ourselves to improve.
No, absolutely. Now, obviously, Vince, Coach Lerner essentially talked about how, and you did as well, about training you and your team's mindset in and out of the cage. What is the biggest difference? Obviously, this has been a winning formula for you. You are continue to be undefeated. What are the what are some things that you found out about yourself in training with Coach Ian and Coach Lerner about yourself inside and out of the cage?
Yeah, well, I mean, Adam in particular, like we talk a lot about the mentality of athletes, high-level athletes, competition, just in general. And because we see each other pretty much every day, this guy's on my ass, whether it's training here, doing sprints at the park, doing everything, swims. It's like we have the opportunity to be talking about whatever comes to our mind. And luckily we kind of resonate in the same idea. Like we both are drawn more towards psychology and interesting things of that sort. It's maybe not interesting to most people, but
No.
But for some reason or other, it always comes down to that. And we talk a lot about that mindset of what it takes to become great, especially in a sport like this, where it's hyper competitive, and it is just 1 versus 1 in there at the end of the day, and one person's gonna win, one person's gonna lose.
Right.
So I just found it cool that I could not just learn more about my own mentality, but
Right.
share some of that same mentality with someone else, and then slowly, as that grows, you guys like Taryn and stuff, we all have that Mamba mentality. We love ourselves some Kobe Bryant, so it resonates in here, and we all build off of it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Okay, I mean, it obviously, we're a couple days removed from the fight, but what do you guys feel?
Yeah, for me, I mean, the whole goal is to get into the UFC as possible, not just get there, but dominate people there. So that's why we're taking fights against guys like Joe Murphy, guys with names, guys who are at the top of the division, or were at the top of the division at one point. We're fighting guys like that to show that I'm ready to fight there. I'm ready to start dominating in the UFC. And so, whatever happens next, if it means going after the LFA belt, if it means getting called right up, if it means contender series, we're just trying our best to get in there.
Yeah. Up to this point, we've fought everybody that they put in front of us, everybody that they've offered. Nolan Hernandez, who's number 5 in California, they offered him on 2 or 3 weeks notice. We said, yeah, let's do it, and he won a unanimous decision all 3 rounds, dropped him 4 times in the fight, dominated a guy who's number 5 in California. Ryan Lilly in his third fight, in his third fight, he fought Ryan Lilly, who just had a big knockout win in LFA not too long ago. And even on not his best day, he still had a very convincing win over a solid guy.
Yeah.
And then he fought a 6-1 guy from a camp where TJ Dillashaw trains, and there's a bunch of killers in that camp, and he trains with those guys, and he's 6-1. And Vince walked through that guy. Great fighter, great guy, but these guys haven't been on Vince's level up to this point. So this fight was really a matter of, a lot of people told us, that's a tough fight. You guys don't need to take that fight. He's 8-4. He's coming off a few losses, and he's much better than people even realize. And we said, well, we're not trying to beat Joe Murphy. We're trying to beat the best in the world. We're trying to beat TJ Dillashaw. We're trying to beat Cody Garbrandt. And if we can't beat Murphy now, then we have a bigger path, a longer journey ahead of us than we think we do. So we need to be able to beat those guys now. Is this a tough fight? Yeah, it's a tough fight. Are we going to win the fight? Yeah, we're going to win the fight. And that's why I said yes to it. That's why I thought it was going to work, and he agreed with me the whole way. It didn't matter what anybody said. If we believe we're going to win, then we're going to take the fight, and we're going to walk through the guy, and we're going to go on to the next part of the journey. We have a big goal in mind, and You know, until we get there, we're going to be hammering out every detail that we possibly can, mentally, physically, and emotionally, until we're at our goal. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And you know, that's why, you know, 4 days after his fight, he's here in the gym working out, getting back to it with a little scratch on his eye, and everything else is good to go.
There you go. There you go. No, man. Anything you guys would like to add?
No, just keep an eye on this guy.
There you go. There you
Keep an
go.
eye on this guy. The most dedicated, you know, guy that I've ever worked with, probably in any sport. You know, I've trained.
That's really saying something.
I've trained NFL guys, NBA guys, fighters, boxers, MMA fighters, whatever. And this guy is the most consistent, dedicated fighter athlete that I've ever worked with. So he's going to the top, guaranteed.
That's tremendous. Oh man, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. But to find out more about what you do here at A4, where can they find info on that?
Yeah, they can go to a4fitness.com or give us a call 310-902-6318 or hit me up on social media.
There you go. And then The Anomaly. Any shout outs and where can they find out about The Anomaly more?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Vince The Anomaly on social media or vinceanomaly.com. And then shout out, of course, to my gyms, A4, Fight Science, Black House, my coaches, Kevin, Ian, and of course, all my sponsors, Boiling Crab Hawaii. That's my family's restaurant. Any of my Hawaii peeps watching this, go eat there. It's in Kaka'ako. We got Fight Tips, Punch Gunk, Paradise Soccer Club, and Luta Gear. Thank you guys so much for the support.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, I thank you guys for your time. Congratulations again on this winning formula, and may it continue forevermore. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Adam. Appreciate it, man.
All right. And we are out. Thank you guys for joining us.